A building with an integrated security system that provides comprehensive visibility and control, combining CCTV surveillance, access management, weapons detection, visitor tracking, and environmental sensors, all supported by built-in analytics for real-time monitoring. Its critical infrastructure includes fire detection and suppression systems, portable and fire emergency water storage, sewage treatment capacity, and multiple layers of redundant power and utility sources, including solar, all to safeguard continuous operations. WTCG has implemented these systems to support uninterrupted business continuity and deliver efficient, reliable operations for our stakeholders and tenants. I take the liberty to welcome you to a facility that joins the indisputable transformational development that is taking place in Guyana, a facility that is open to all of you to facilitate working together for the common good. Today is the commissioning of the building. On October 21st, we expect to be joined by representatives from World Trade Centers globally for the formal launch of our WTCG and its support program. I take great pride and pleasure in welcoming you all this evening to this historic occasion, the commissioning of the World Trade Center Georgetown, the first in the CARICOM region. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Wesley. I know that you have programs.
General Secretary of Central America, Mr. Vinicio Cirizo, and President of the WTCA, and John Drew. Since the license acquisition, WTC Georgetown has been quite active in work of the WTCA, promoting collaboration in areas including information exchange on regulation and market access, training to including training in Chinese language, and exchange of trade and investment mission. Through the MOU with WTC Miami, three major Guyanese manufacturers were afforded an opportunity to display their products at the American Food and Beverage Show in Miami in last year, or September. We have also been working with WTC in Asia, Latin America, and Africa, along with the Guyana diplomatic missions abroad, to open up markets for our own brands that we are promoting globally. In the height of the supply chain crisis, we convened a forum in February last year to analyze the impact of global shipping on Guyana's supply chain, out of which emerged recommendations for cushioning the worst aspects of the crisis. Following the outreach, maybe I can do it afterwards.
Yeah.
I will do it afterwards.
It loads here. I told you it was secure.
Excellency, this was a study commission on how we can
Thank you very much, Chairman. And now it's my pleasure to invite His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Republic, to present this evening's feature address.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please have your seat. Let me, first of all, recognize members of Cabinet, members of the diplomatic community, distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Also recognize former Vice President Carl Greenwich. Today is a very long day for me. I am in Region 3. I had to find a way to beat the traffic back here, and then try to find a way to beat the traffic back, as we have more than 10,000 people waiting for me at their dinner. So it's a very beautiful time. But I'm very pleased to be here at this very important ceremony. today is not just about celebration, or it's not just about our history and the positioning of our country is at a point of great ambitious plans, but more importantly, is a point of significant growth and development. And this function today is a reflection of the type of confidence the international investors, the international community, and our local private sector, type of confidence they have in our economy. And confidence not manifested in mere words, but confidence manifested in strong investments. They're putting their capital, human and financial capital, to back their confidence in words in our economy. And that is very important. It's also very important that we have building like the World Trade Center to signify Guyana's positioning. We are trying to position our country in the globe in a way that is going to be transformative for us and transformative for this region. We are very confident about the outlook of our country, but we are even more confident about the role we can play and we will play in the global economy. We are going to be a major voice, a major player, and a major market for energy and energy security. We are going to be the most significant voice in the global market on climate security, especially as it relates to forests and biodiversity. And make no mistake, we are going to take leadership in this region on food security. And coming with all of that is the rapid expansion and diversification of our economy. We believe that we're at a point now, because of the investment we're making in our infrastructure, because of the publicity Guyana has been able to achieve, and because of the confidence Guyana has been able to carve out for itself, that we're at a point now where we will be having some of the best and most sophisticated companies in ecotourism, some of the companies with the greatest market access in ecotourism, investing here in Guyana. Our aviation sector is already expanding leaps and bounds. For a matter of fact, in the next 2 years, we'll have one of the most modern aviation sector by legislation, by regulation, and also by investment. We'll have one of the most modern aviation sector in the region. All of that tells us that we need to re-examine the way we look at the future. We need to re-examine the way in which we are going to structure our businesses, the way in which we're going to structure our management, so that we can ensure that we are agile as government and companies, that we are flexible as government and companies to embrace the challenges and the opportunities that are coming our way. And of course, as Komal said, one of this great challenge is capital formation. And I always remind the Minister of Finance that foreign direct investment is not a foreign company coming to leverage the liquidity in Guyana. It's a foreign company bringing in new capital in the market. So the type of opportunities that are coming our way are of a scale and magnitude that we need partnership, we need transfer of technology, we need integration of human capital, and we need efficiency of doing business, but we need it at a pace that we cannot wait to achieve. And the only way we can achieve that pace is by adopting the best international practices and principles, and then working ourselves towards those practices and principles. And that is why the World Trade Center and organizations like these, with the network it has, is so critical for this phase of transformation. It's no longer a phase of development, it's a phase of transformation. It also requires transformative thinking. Our mindset must also be geared towards what is needed and what is required in this transformative environment. And as I said, one of the issues for our small and medium-sized enterprises especially is how do we create an enabling environment to help them with their competitiveness, to help them to meet the standards that the international market would accept, to help them to get cheap capital, and to help them to get access to technology that will make their businesses viable. Because without the technology, the viability of businesses will be questioned in today's environment. So how do we do this in the future? We've already said that we're going to create a special investment vehicle for small and medium-sized enterprises. An investment vehicle that will co-invest with SMEs to bring down the cost of financing. So the government will put in financing at 0% cost so that the capital market can reduce their interest rate and match that financing. It also reduces the risk of lending to SMEs, and with a reduction of risk comes a reduction of collateral requirement. So all of this will come together to help our SMEs, but help them to do what? We don't want SMEs all to be battling in the same environment. The oil and gas and revenue from oil and gas and all the logistics opportunity really position our economy to have a series of additional benefits. And that is what we're going to target. Financing must be matched with infrastructure. We have to develop the entire ecosystem. That is why we're speaking now about scaled opportunities. Some of the major transformative projects, whether it's for security, regional security and fertilizer, on the distribution of gas, on the new gas plant that is coming, on the manufacturing and industrial opportunity that comes with cheaper energy, we now have to create that ecosystem to help our SMEs. So one of the things that we're going to do is that we're going to build a industrial manufacturing and agro-processing hub with a shell completely outfitted so that we can have these entities placed in a world-class facility from day one. So they'll be operating with certain standards from day one. Now, we have already started this. Only recently, we have entered an agreement with Bloomberg Grains. What Bloomberg Grains will do is to rapidly take our standards to the US standards so that everything that we do in terms of processing and value added to our agricultural commodity will immediately be ready for the US market and the rest of the global market, because we're going to go towards that standard. So that's the first thing they will do. They'll be working on the regulations and the infrastructure to take our standards there. Then they'll be building out the facility in keeping with those standards. After that, they will be bringing in major players and investors, brands, to be part of the facility so that we can then integrate Northern Brazil with the facility, integrate our local production system with the facility, and then have all of CARICOM integrated with that facility, and then the extra-regional trade. So our small farmers, our medium-scale farmers, our small processors, everybody will be part of this ecosystem that will be bringing all their input into one umbrella organization, Bloomberg Grains. So we satisfy financing, technology, regulations, market, human resource assets, and all of that with just this one agreement with a world-class player in the food and agricultural area. And more of these partnerships we'll be pursuing so that when we roll out the ecosystem that will support our SMEs, there's a strong mechanism there already that will help them to get to the international market. Then we have, of course, the building of consortiums, small consortiums, especially with a lot of young people, so that we move away from the concept of sole traders and family businesses. Not that they're not good, but I think they've served us for a long time in the history of our country, and now our country has rapidly outgrown that structure of business. And we have to adopt these new structures that will enable us to grow at the rate that we should be growing at. So today's ceremony, as I said, is significant because now we have an enabling institution in the World Trade Center that would help us to leverage our capital here, that will help us to leverage new capital in the market. But more importantly, that would help us to network at a more rapid pace. DDL, outside of this project, we were hoping that this year that project will come fully on stream. They're investing in a major dairy facility, a $25 million US investment. Now, the mayor of Georgetown would tell you that no investor would invest $25 million US if they're not very confident about the strategy we have for food security and agriculture. And that is just another installment of the confidence in our economy. We also believe that having a building is one thing, but having a building that has certain characteristics is another story. I mean, when the sophisticated investors speak to you and here you have common service under the World Trade Center, it sends a different signal. So we're signaling to the international community, the sophisticated investors, that we are ready to play in any league. We are ready to play in any league, and that's very important. We must be humble about our development, but we must be ready to show the world that we will embrace the highest standard and we'll play in any league that is necessary for the continued growth and advancement of our country. So I look forward to the World Trade Center Georgetown helping to shape this new economic culture in our country, one that speaks the language of export readiness, trade facilitation, and global competitiveness, with the tools, networks, and exposure needed to compete and win on the global stage. But to fully realize this ambition, we must also deepen our commitment to the broader forces that drive economic success: trade and investment. Trade and investment represents two of those forces. Trade and investment are the lifeblood of growth. No country grows wealthy by staying insular. You must understand this. No country can grow wealthy by staying insular. No economy sustains growth without trade. No private sector prospers without investment. This is why over the past 3+ decades, Guyana being a small country, we have always emphasized a strategy of export orientation. But trade is not just about exports and imports. It's about linkages, and about scale, about making our businesses more productive, our people more skilled, our economy more diversified. Investment is not just about money. It's about technology, about jobs, about ideas, about taking risk on a vision and reaping rewards that ripple across generations. The World Trade Center Georgetown will help us grow both, not in theory, but in practice. This is not just about infrastructure or services. It's about leadership and vision. Behind the establishment of the World Trade Center Georgetown is a powerful example of private sector initiative aligned with national development. So I also want to take this opportunity to commend the Demerara Distillers Limited, whose foresight, courage, and strategic thinking have brought this vision to life. The same company that gave the world El Dorado rum now gives Guyana a global trade platform. This is not merely a real estate play. This is a development play, a nation-building play, a confidence play. This center must now be animated, not just by meetings and exhibitions, but also by outcomes, results. Let it become the go-to destination for international trade missions. Let it host dialogues between local producers and global buyers. Let it inspire new standards in office infrastructure, business services, and commercial culture. Yes, commercial culture. We have to change our commercial culture. We have to understand that if we are to compete, we must change our commercial culture. It cannot be a one-off transaction that is going to make us successful. We have to understand how our culture in our entities, our businesses, and organization must be critically integrated with results. Let it inspire new standards, as I said. Let it incubate businesses and business opportunities. Let it be a center of training, facilitating, and empowering, not just top corporations, but small businesses, owners, trying to take their first steps into export markets. Let it help Guyana pivot from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-driven, globally integrated one. Let the WTC Georgetown act as a matchmaker, connecting Guyanese food producers with international distributors, buyers, and chefs. Let me also say that we are in the process now of reforming our entire financial system. We are looking at an electronic payment platform. We are looking at digitization for all government services. We are looking at technology to replace a lot of emphasis on these reforms. You will see in the coming months investment geared at the new economy, massive incentives given in the new areas that will be resilient and sustainable. And I think it's just an exciting time for the young entrepreneur to be in Guyana at this time. You know, those who are more experienced, I won't say older like Kit, more experienced, I'm sure would be wishing that they can roll back a number of years and be part of this exciting journey. And long live trade, long live private enterprise, and long live Guyana, forward together for a stronger Guyana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the effort that you put into being able to make it here this evening. I believe that we are richer by your presentation. I believe that we have heard a vision that needs more than 3 months. I noticed you were looking at the colors of shirts, and I was calculating about the things you're doing, and I said these things need more than 3 months. So clearly you have a plan.
Clearly you have an idea of what you have to do.
I rather suspect so. I rather suspect so. Before you leave, Mr. President, there are a few things you need to do. One of them is that you must see Julia Johnson. If you're into colors tonight, Julia has... You need to see Julia before you go. I'm sure that everyone here has heard you reinforce the vision, and certainly there were new elements to it as well that we heard. I believe that there's clear alignment between what was outlined by our Director, Mr. Curtin, Chairman, Mr. Samaru, and where you say you would like to see this center go. So thank you very, very much, and we wish you continued success with your evening. But just before you go, in addition to seeing Julia, there's another red thing you need to deal with here. We'd like to invite you to join our chairman to unveil the plaque. If you could remain standing while the president and his team leaves, and please note, ladies and gentlemen, please note that the program will continue after His Excellency leaves. So please retain your seats and don't leave. Thank you.